Okay, I want you to turn past this page. Put your name on it, but just turn past that page. Because I've already illustrated that point in another video. Now we have to solve for x, and I don't ignore those parentheses. We're not going to use those. Okay, here's what you need to do here. You're going to think of the same way. It's a proportion. Circle the diagonal that doesn't have the x if there is one. Like right there, 7 times 8. Okay, 7 times 8 is 56. So I put 56 on this side. Now circle the other diagonal, but in that diagonal you got an x and a 5, but there's a minus 2 with the x. So here's what needs to be done. You're going to put a 1 in front of the x, and if you have a minus, make it plus negative, because what you need to do with those two terms is write them over here, 1x and negative 2, just write them separately, and you multiply each of them by 5. So 1x times 5 is 5x, and negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. Okay? So over here I'm going to write 5x minus 10. And then I'm good to solve it. Okay? Go up. So x is being multiplied by 5. Has a minus 10, so we deal with the minus 10 by adding 10. And 56 plus 10 is 66. And so I have 5 times x. And now the opposite of times is to divide by 5. Okay, and then 66 divided by 5 is my answer, so that's 13.2. You can get a decimal, don't worry about it. Okay, my next problem, 3 over 3x plus 4 equals 2 over x minus 4. So I really don't have a diagonal that would not have x, so just circle one of them. I would go with this way if you want. So again, I have a minus 4 with the x, so we attach a 1 to the x as a coefficient is what that's called, the 1. And then make the minus 4 plus negative. Because you need to take the 1x and the negative 4. I put the plus negative so you know that that's a negative 4. You might need to multiply them each by 3 separately. So 3, 3. So that is 3x, and that is negative 12. So on this side I write 3x minus 12. Now I look at the other diagonal. There's an x, but there's a 3x and a 4 and then a 2. So the 3x and the 4, we write those down separately, and each of them get multiplied by 2. So that's 6x, and that's 8. So on this side you're going to have 6x plus 8. Now you got a problem. You have two different x's in the problem. If you have them in the same problem, they're going to be on opposite sides. So it doesn't matter which one you mark. I usually would mark the smaller one. And I need to get that 3x to a 0. Okay, it's a positive, so I subtract it. Okay, so that can now cross out, and I have negative 12. 6 x minus 3x is 3x, and then plus 8. Okay, now I can focus on getting the x by itself. What's happening to it? We got times 3 and plus 8. We got to deal with the plus 8 first, so I'm minus 8, and then minus 8. Line up your equals. Okay, over here we got 3 times x. Over on the other side, remember it's not 12 minus 8, it's negative 12 minus 8, so that's negative 20. And then it's dividing time by the 3. So negative 20 divided by 3 is negative 6.6 repeating. That is the right answer. I'm not worried that that looked like that. I just go. Okay, next one, that's an X. There's nothing in front of it. The staple's kind of in the way. So one of your diagonals, circle one of them, line up your equals first, and it doesn't matter which one you circle, we'll go with this one. Now there's an X, but there's also a minus 8 with the X, so I put a 1 in front of the X, make the 8 plus negative, and those are two separate terms. We will be multiplying them separately by 4. Because if that was just an 8, I'd be multiplying 8 by 4, but there's a 1x with it, so I just multiply the 1x by 4 as well. So that's 4x, and that equals negative 32. So on this side, we got 4x minus 32. Now on the other side, there's a 5 to an x, but there's also a plus 3, so we write the 1x and the 3 down separately. And then we're going to multiply them each by 5. So that is 5 with x, and that's 15. So over here, you're going to have 5x plus 15. Okay, you got two different x's. They're on opposite sides of the equation, so I just put an arrow on the smaller one. And then we need to get the 4 to become a 0, which I accomplish if I minus 4. So that's a negative 32. Remember that minus sign now goes with the 32 as a negative. You don't just forget about it. That's going to be 1x plus 15. So now we have times 1 and plus 15. So we do undo the plus 15 by minus 15. So negative 32 minus 15. Remember, it's negative 32 minus 15. That's negative 47. And then we got 1 times x. You can divide by 1 if you want. It's not going to change the answer. So negative 47 equals x. Or x equals negative 47. The order you write your solution doesn't really matter that much. Okay, 4x plus 1 over x plus 9 equals negative 3 over negative 2. Okay, now again, you got these two separate, so 4x and 1 each get separately multiplied by negative 2. That's going to be negative 8x equals negative 2. So over on that side, I put negative 8x minus 2. Because it's negative, I write minus. Okay, then going the other direction, the 1x and the 9 I write down separately. And I multiply them separately by negative 3. So 1x times negative 3 is negative 3x. 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. So over here I write negative 3x minus 27. Okay, pick one of your x's. Again, I'll pick the lesser one. Negative 8 is less than negative 3. So I get rid of that one. So to take, if I'm on a number line and I'm trying to get from negative 8 to 0, I'm going this way, which means add 8. Don't add negative 8, just add 8. Because here's why you don't add negative 8. If you take negative 8 plus negative 8, well, that isn't 0. I wouldn't be able to cross it off. But if I do a negative 8 plus and then just 8, that's 0. Line up your equals, you get negative 2. Negative 3 plus 8 is 5x minus 27. Now, x is being multiplied by 5. We also have a minus 27. The opposite of minus is plus. So you have 5 times x. And then negative 2 plus 27 is 25. Now, it's dividing time, but remember, and you got a lot better with that, okay? The number with the x is a number we divide by. So that those cancel. X is now by itself. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Two more. Okay, 3 over negative 2x equals 2 over x plus 2. Okay. Now right here, I can just multiply. I wouldn't put a 1 there because there's already a negative 2. So it's just negative 2 times 2 with an x connected because there's an x right there. Then on the other side, we have these two separate terms. So I write them over here, 1x and 2. And I multiply them each separately by 3. So that's 3x, and that's 6. So on this side, I got 3x plus 6. Now you want to be a little bit careful here as far as which x you pick to eliminate. If I get rid of that 4, I'm going to get confused, I'm afraid, because there's nothing over there then. See, if I get rid of this 3, that's okay. There'll still be a 6 there. So I'll get rid of the 3. Since it's positive, to make it into a 0, we'd minus 3. Minus 3. So that's not 1, okay? Think, if you're on a negative 4 on a number line, you'd be moving this way. So you go negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, so that'd be negative 7x. And over here you got 6. Now the only thing that's happening to x is it's being multiplied. Okay, there's no plus or minus. There's no add or subtract. I just then divide by negative 7. So I got x negative 0.85 or 86. Okay, and then finally, circle one of your diagonals. Again, you got an x, but there's a plus 4, so we're going to make that a 1x plus 4 then. And I'm going to take the 1x and the 4, and I'm going to multiply each of them separately by 3. Because if there's only one thing down there, I'd times it by 3. Well, there's 2 things down there that I'll times by 3. Remember to line up the equals. So it's going to be 3x, and that's going to be 12. So on that side, we're going to have 3x plus 12. Now on the other side, again, you got a 4 and an x, but then there's a plus 1 with the x. So I put the 1 in front of the x, so I see we have 2 different terms. See here, I don't put a 1 because there's already a negative 2, so that's just one term. So I can just take this times this, but I got to remember to put the x on the net, because negative 2x times, negative 2 times 2 would be negative 4, but negative 2x times 2 would be negative 4 with x. On the other side, you got 1x and 1. Times 4, so it's 4x and 4. Okay. Minus, and you can do it with 4x if you want. So that's positive 12, and then that's 1x plus 4. Okay, so what's happening to the only x I have? Well, we have a plus 4 and a times 1. We need to undo the opposite of plus 4 first. That's 8, and 1 times x, divided by 1. And now I have x, and I've got 8.